Okay, so that, boys, is why Red Dwarf is part of the Mr. Tumble universe.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
What the hell's going on here? Fucking hell, what's all this mess?
You're right there.
Mike?
Oh my!
You're right there, Mike.
What the? You okay, guys?
Mike,
Fucking
what?
hell, my
Mike,
head. You okay, guys? Hi.
Right.
Hello.
You stop asking
Hi.
people, why is there a glockenspiel hanging out your backside? Mike,
Well,
play with that.
I can't remember.
How much wine did you drink?
I didn't drink any wine. I came on to see if you guys were ready to record, and there was sort of gremlin thing.
Yeah. Sorry, that was my bad. Yeah. Sorry.
What?
Yeah. I fed me mogwai after midnight the other week. Yeah, he's been dealt with. Sorry. Okay. Right. Let's get you to a hospital and get that removed because that looks kind of painful.
Okay.
Okay. Right. And welcome back to the Geeky Dads Podcast, where if we was on an RPG sheet, our geeky knowledge would be over 9,000, but our pull-out game would be weak as fuck. I'm Ian
You gotta do it again now.
No, just leave that in. Just leave it in, because what we should tell everybody on the podcast who are listening is Duffy just did that 5 times, fucked it up. He finally got it right. That's why we all went, yay!
Were you referencing Vegeta then as well, going, it's over 9,000?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah, exactly. Geeky knowledge, over 9,000, but our pull-out game is just weak AF.
You just leave this in now, yeah. This bit's good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, yet again, I am Ian Duffy, and this week I am joined by Craig Edwards.
Hello.
Mike Shelshire. And Chris Moss.
Greetings and salutations.
So, how's everybody been? Chris, how have you been? Up
Yeah,
to
not too bad. No, I've been doing what I think most parents in this country have been doing, and kind of chilling, knowing that everything is sorted, ready for Christmas, until it gets to December the 1st, when I start shitting myself that no, it's not, and it's not going to get done, and the whole thing is a complete and utter mess. So, so same as usual, really.
Okay.
But apart from that, yeah, not too bad. Legends of Runeterra has a new expansion, which will be out by the time this podcast is uploaded and what have you. So, so looking forward to that.
Excellent.
More new things to play with, so it's all good.
Oh, that's what we like to hear. Mike, how about you? And I know that we had to get your Ezra's glockenspiel removed from your rectum. But in all seriousness, we know you have had the plague. And how are you getting on?
Yeah. Well, since I've had that glockenspiel removed, I'm also shitting myself constantly. But that's not due to the same reasons. I do have the plague. I'm all right. I've literally got just a few aches and pains. I've been playing a few games myself. I've just got into Oddworld's Soulstorm. I never played it. It was on one of my Steam lists that I'd already installed it, so nice. I started playing that. Yeah, I like the Oddworld game, so it was. Yeah, I've got into that now.
Oh, excellent! Well, I'm glad to hear that you still got a sense of taste and you haven't got live life love on your wall. So brilliant.
No, I'm not Karen.
Excellent. Craig, how have you been?
Yeah, I'm good. Hopefully, it should be a lot better tomorrow once I get my ceiling fixed after putting my foot through it last week. So
hey.
that's what happens when you go chasing a Babadook.
Yeah, no, it's my grudge get gremlin up in the loft for me.
We do need to share the video on like at least the Facebook page of Craig actually witnessing the Babadook as he goes up into
Yeah, I think you do need to put a post on the page.
It's so good.
Yeah, it does give me nightmares, that stuff. I mean, when I was a kid, I was always convinced the Predator was living in my loft.
I know, but like, that was brilliant though. When the minute he walks up, it's like, what the fuck is that noise? He's like, no.
After seeing that movie, it always terrifies me going up there. And
I've not seen it every
time.
I've not seen it yet.
I think it's on BBC iPlayer, you know.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'll have to see. I'll have to find it somewhere and give it a go. So yeah.
So well, I went to Thomas Land the weekend, took Ezra there. He got his first lightsaber and he proceeded to beat me with it. So he takes after his brother, as his tradition, like his brother before him. So Ezra's like taking his Kylo Ren route already. What else? I've been watching the new series of Games Master. On YouTube.
It's so good, isn't it?
I gave the first one a go. Yeah, I gave the first one a go. I haven't watched the rest of it, but it's still good.
I'm all the way in, third one. I'm like, all the way in now.
I've just finished. So I really hope that they do make a series of it. You know what? Actually, I find it quite entertaining.
I love the host and I love the Glaswegian thing.
Yeah.
And I love
I
love the fact that they do that sort of like Glaswegian talk in the middle as well, like when he's talking to his mate who's supposed to be a bit thick.
Yeah.
that in the new episode as well, he's chatting to him and he goes, do you know what mods are? And he's like, he doesn't know. He's like, are them like motorcycle gangs that my dad used to be in? He's like, no, not them type of mods. He's like, mods for computers. And he tells him what mods are and he goes, do you do this? And he goes, no, mate, I'm thick. I'm thick as fuck.
Oh, what was it? He was talking about a level of Doom called Thatcher's.
Oh, the Margaret Thatcher one.
I'm gonna have to Games Master.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Oh, they made there wasn't just a level. There was a whole like set of WAD files for Doom. I know about this, and it is a whole set of levels where you literally end up fighting Margaret Thatcher Demon at the end.
Tell you what, that was probably the best game ever made.
I've just seen the picture, and I remember that big head. Yeah, I remember that from the thing. No, I didn't know they redid it.
Yeah, it's like it's starting at 3-4. But I think one of the lads on the third episode actually won one in the original series as well. So that was interesting. Yeah.
So he won 2 golden joysticks, didn't he? He won one when he was a kid, and then came back when he was an adult and won another one.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, but the whole series is on YouTube. So
yeah.
Because I watched the first episode, and
I think if you go on the E4 YouTube channel, not trying to advertise shit, but like yeah.
Well, yeah, the new series, but I found like copies of the old series as well. Been watching a few of those, and they had like a thing about modern, like people customizing the Game Boys. And I remember always wanting to do that to mine, but never did.
Yeah. Putting backlights in and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like somebody made one like it was all kinds. Just I'm trying to remember. It's like a themed one, like a church themed one. It was weird. Like it was made out of wood. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's about it. I'm obviously playing Fortnite because Spider-Man's in it now. So I'll be. I'm trying to get. Me and Tommy are going to try and get our Spider-Man. And that's about it, really. Yeah. Cool. So following on from last week's retro games, I did ask some of our followers like what their favorite games was, and they did have like a couple of like interesting suggestions. I had
nice.
Super Mario obviously was quite a popular one.
Obviously, yeah.
Friend of the podcast, James, said that it was Final Fantasy VII, but he was insulted that a PS1 was considered retro.
Well, yeah, but we are old as fuck now, so like PS1 is retro now. Sadly,
we were teenagers when that came out. So,
see,
as far as I'm concerned, anything under the age of like 17, I would class.
Yeah.
When
See, anything in the 90s for me is
now.
retro. See,
Yeah,
I would say anything in the 90s is retro for me because that's when I grew up playing the games. So
that's why I said pre-2000s is retro.
Yeah, I was fine
to
with
us.
That. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What else? And another friend mentioned Mickey Mouse's Castle of Illusion.
Oh
yeah.
Wow,
Have you played the remake of that?
No, I played the remake of Aladdin.
The remake of Castle of Illusion is actually really good.
Is it?
It's fantastic.
I mean, you know what? All those Disney games were actually both really hard, but really good as well. I mean, Aladdin was perfect. Lion King was hard as hell.
Yeah.
Aladdin was ridiculously hard as well. To be fair.
I don't know, I completed it.
I never completed that without cheating. And even Lion King was ridiculously hard. When it got to I think it was the run, wasn't it? Where everything was running at you and you had to try and get past everything. You just get killed instantly.
Yeah.
I just couldn't get off the can't wait to be king level.
The monkeys.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But somebody actually reached out and mentioned a game I've never heard of before. It was a Commodore 64 game, and it was Ed the Duck.
I never played Ed the Duck on the Commodore 64. I will definitely play that. I will find it and I will play it.
I'm just completely like blown away that all these BBC stars got video games. I mean, Rolf Harris had Punch and Judy on the Commodore 16.
Andy Peters with Ed the Duck.
Well,
do you know? Like, without even joking, there was a Spectrum game of Alf Vida saying "pet."
I would play that game. I used to love that. Did it have the theme tune?
It did. It was in the style, but it was like it was very like beepy. And then like the whole game was just a bricklaying game. That's all it was.
My word. I'm just blown away how all these 80s like puppets got like so much attention, even though they were hiding a very dark secret.
Well, as you said, the puppets, it's where they got the hands up, isn't it? So
I'm thinking about this. I mean,
if we knew Ed the Duck had ended up being a fucking Marvel character when we were kids,
Well, let's face it. I mean, we all know why Andy Peters left the broom cupboard, and that was because Ed the Duck was on steroids and beating them up.
Yes, it clearly was. You would if someone stuck your hand up their arse. You probably fight back a little bit.
I mean, what I'm thinking of is like you just think about it. I mean, you had Ed the Duck. He was he was mad on steroids. Then you had Gordon the Gopher. He was a crack addict. He's always had the shakes.
He did dance around a lot.
Exactly. He was always bloody high on crack. And then finally, we've got Otis the Aardvark. I mean, he's banned from BBC Christmas Party because he hoovered up all the coke.
I can't even remember Otis the Aardvark, to be fair. Did I get to the point where I just stopped watching at that point?
He was in rehab that often. He just was never on TV because he was always bloody snorting everybody's coke.
Okay.
And let's take Rainbow, for example. Zippy was like basically a living GIMP mask.
Yeah.
That is true. That is
the
true.
original GIMP.
And what the worst part about it is the little, what was the pink hippo called?
George.
It was a fella.
George would literally be the one that would like zip Zippy up, wouldn't it? And be like, "Shut up, Zippy." So that was the dominatrix.
Exactly. And if what?
Pink dominatrix.
I didn't even know until I was in my 30s that George was actually a fella. I always thought it was a girl. Short for Georgina.
Apparently just a fella, yeah.
No.
This pink dominatrix, that's what it was. Exactly.
It just blows my mind away how all these kids' cartoon characters and puppets get their own stuff. I mean, it's just beggars belief. Okay, and on to the main part of the show. And this week we're discussing Spider-Man. Now, for me, Spider-Man started as me being a little boy sat in my grandma's living room, getting the living daylight scared out of me by the 60s Spider-Man cartoon show and watching the lizard jump out of the water. How about you, boys?
Who's going first?
I was waiting for you guys, to be fair.
You broke the thingy on there. You know me.
It broke the system because normally you ask like one by one. No,
okay,
I think it's quite a good thing. No, I think it's quite a good thing. I'll go first if you want. Guys.
Okay, yeah.
Go on.
Like, to be fair, I wasn't a massive Spider-Man fan when I was a kid.
Yeah.
As in the sense that I didn't really watch a lot of Spider-Man cartoons and stuff, but I was obsessed with the Spider-Man idea, definitely.
Yeah.
And the idea that like I could climb up walls and like be able to like backflip off stuff. And I did watch the cartoon every now and then. Definitely did. Because it was always on TV. But like the idea of being Spider-Man was quite fucking cool. So I always remember like begging my parents to have this Spider-Man like outfit. Especially after seeing Uncle Dave in his like undies, his Spider-Man undies. I was like, I need to have a Spider-Man outfit. So they actually did get me a Spider-Man outfit. Absolute true story. They got me a Spider-Man outfit. And I wore it for like 2 days and I started jumping off shit and hurting myself quite often. And they took it off me and got rid of it very quickly. Because like I was literally just climbing up to the highest point I could and then jumping off shit. Thinking like, because I had the Spider-Man suit on, this will save me.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Was that the Spider?
They very quickly took it away from me again. I must have been about 5 years old.
Was that the Spider-Man outfit that basically the mask looked like a balaclava? So you had the mouth.
Basically,
yeah. I remember I had a friend who lived in Mershaw, Alan, his name was, and he always used to wear the he always used to come out and pretend to be Spider-Man. If he wore that outfit, he was Spider-Man, and he put on an American accent. It was god awful.
Just run around, just jump off shit.
Then his dad would come out and tell him off.
Yeah, but my problem was I'm so tapped in the head that I would literally just climb up shit and just jump out, and like be thinking this suit was just sort of like had magic powers, and just hurt myself. And walk in and be like, "Mum, why's my knee bleeding?"
Yeah, Spider-Man doesn't bleed.
Come on. That genuinely did happen, and it genuinely got taken off me.
Nice.
God, I remember those Spider-Man outfits when we were kids as well. I mean, it wasn't like the ones you get now with like little muscles built in. It literally just was a cotton thing.
No, it was just It
was a cotton onesie with a with like a balaclava.
Yeah,
that was it. Yeah.
See, I don't remember if I had a costume or it seems like I did. But at the same time, I don't know whether or not that was just me putting underpants on my head.
I remember having my wife on.
You know, when you kind of think like, did that really happen, or am I just?
I might have just made it myself.
Exactly.
I put my nan's tights on and put underpants on my head.
I'm genuinely not sure.
I'm Spider-Man.
I am genuinely not sure. It could have happened. It might not have done. I don't know.
I think the only one I had, the only outfit I had as a kid was a Mr. T one, from the A-Team. So it was like it was a plastic mask and a plastic like tabard that you wore, and it was like Mr. T. There's a picture of my mum wearing it. She looks like Craig David. She had the glasses on. She looked like Craig David from Bo Selector.
Nice.
I have to put a picture up. It's hilarious. But yeah. Chris, what about you? What other Spider-Man memories do you have?
Similar to Mike, really, because again, I didn't have the toys.
No.
Spider-Man wasn't really on my radar, sort of thing. I watched the cartoons again occasionally when it was on. But that's about it, really.
You knew about it going on at the time.
Yeah, exactly. You knew, and this was like way before you kind of had the sense of Marvel and DC sort of thing. So Spider-Man for me was always a character like you had Batman. So Spider-Man, Batman, you had these heroes, and I had no idea that they were all that those two in particular were completely different universes.
Yes, I was the same. I had no idea they were separated.
Exactly. But then I wouldn't have a clue at the same time that Batman and Superman were, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I was thinking that today. I thought that was quite interesting that back then there were just these characters, and some of them had, and then when they teamed up or whatever, it's like, oh, wicked, this character's in this cartoon for some strange reason.
For me, I'd be going around to my mate's house who would be obsessed with these cartoons, and he'd have all the figures, and he'd be like, "This is a Batman figure and a Spider-Man figure," and we'd just play together and just like make up scenarios. Yeah. And then when you start doing that Lego talk thing, and everyone does Lego talk where you're literally just messing with toys and talking random shit. But neither of you is making any sense.
Yeah.
So you sit there going, and Spider-Man jumps onto the building and does this. And the other one's going, and Batman jumps over here and does this. And like neither of you are connected in any way, but you're just sort of playing with toys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And exactly. I remember that.
That's how we sort of like played with toys when we were children. And every now and then we'd like come together and just like there'd be like a mega battle, and then there'd be like every now and then there'd be a kickoff as well. And yeah, and one like kid would like have to be pulled away because they started screaming.
Oh, definitely, yeah. But that's a lovely term. I've never heard that before, Lego talk. But that's actually like a perfect amalgamate, like a way to describe it.
Lego talk's brilliant because when you're playing with Lego, it's so peaceful. Like there's no sort of like with action figures, you do end up like arguing, but with Lego, you just sit there chatting shit, basically. And that's why I call it Lego talk, because you would, as children, just talk utter shit, and the other person didn't give a shit what you were saying. That you didn't give a shit what they were saying either. So it was just Lego talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is beautiful. Honestly, it really is beautiful, like way of putting it. Craig, what about you?
Yeah, my first, what I can remember of Spider-Man is the 1994 cartoon on Fox Kids.
Yeah.
And that's where I fell in love with Spider-Man watching that. And the first episode I can remember ever watching is the one with the Spider Slayers, the 3 spider robots.
Yeah.
And they joined together, and it was from then that I just loved it, and I've always watched it since then. And like I said, I've never, like Chris and Mike said, I've never had the toys really for Spider-Man. I think the only thing I ever got is the thing that you put on the wrist and you put your silly string in it and you can shoot the web that way. I think that's the only thing that I've ever had of Spider-Man. But the actual other toys that I've never had. But that's
I just watched them few episodes of was it the 1990 hold on a second.
It's 94 to 97.
94 to 98, I think it was.
I've got it here, 94 to 97, 5 seasons there was.
Nice.
I think it ran to 98. But like I watched them episodes. The one with the Killer Croc and like I'd only like, because as I say, I wasn't a massive Spider-Man fan, so I sat there and watched them today. Watched like the first few episodes. They're actually pretty freaking cool, actually.
Awesome as well. Some of them were quite dark as well. Some episodes.
Some of Spider-Man's quips are amazing. Some of the things he says are like fantastic in that episode. Like few episodes. Oh, it's a few episodes. It ran for 5 years.
Yeah. But yeah,
that's clever.
That's what I remember of Spider-Man. That's when I first got into it, watching that.
Yeah.
I've been loved it since.
Yeah, I mean, the saddest thing about it was ended on a cliffhanger. You never knew what happened in the end. It was just
really?
Madam Web.
Don't tell me that.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Like 20 years later.
Yeah. They're trying to find Mary Jane, ain't they?
Yeah, and they introduced so many characters.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for ruining it for me. Like I've just got into this.
I mean, it introduced so many characters. I remember it introduced Blade.
Yeah, Blade. Oh, that's true. Yeah, because Morbius was in it. That's why, weren't he?
Yeah.
Morbius.
Yeah.
So Blade come into it, and like I said, it was really good. Like I said, but it had like crossovers as well. Like what I used to like watch, you'd have Spider-Man on one point, and then you had the old X-Men cartoon as well, and sometimes mix as well. There's a couple of episodes where the X-Men are in the Spider-Man, and even like Iron Man.
I used to love the old X-Men
really good.
cartoons.
Oh god,
yeah,
massively into that.
So
that's coming back, isn't it?
Yeah, the redoing that as well.
Yeah.
So that'll be really good to look forward to. Well, we'll better move on to the movies then, shall we?
Yes.
Well, I'll start off because the first movies I remember are the 1970s ones. Now, it was a TV show in America called The Amazing Spider-Man. It starred Nicholas Hammond out of Sound of Music, and he played Spider-Man in it. But he didn't fight supervillains. It was just. I think the first one was about he was fighting a man who was like hypnotizing people into like committing robberies and stuff like that. The second one was about.
Was it like a song and dance? Was he like running along the stage and being like, "I'm being chased by a supervillain"?
Believe it or not, no. I'll tell you what though. Because I've been watching the entire fact it's never been released on DVD. I mean, they only released like a couple of the films. That it was on TV in America, but in Europe it was released in the cinema. So there's Spider-Man. That's the first one I remember, and he was terrifying to look at because he was just a fellow in a mask. It was kind of scary. Then there was Spider-Man Strikes Back, and then there was Spider-Man the Dragon's Challenge. There's a video by Joe Blow about it called The Forgotten Trilogy. You should really give it a watch. It's really quite interesting. But the thing about it was, all the films, like the modern films, like from 2002 onwards, it was all CG and like special effects. Well, in this show, like you see a man dressed as Spider-Man climbing down a building.
Yeah, I've seen it as well. Like what made me laugh was when his spider sense went off on that one. It proper like zoomed on his face, and it was like, didn't it flash or something? I can't remember.
Yeah, his eyes used to flash red.
Yeah, it used to flash weird, didn't it?
Yeah.
And when he was shooting his web as well, it used to come out. It was just like a crap piece of rope.
Yeah, I mean, oh God, I remember I had Spider-Man Strikes Back, and that was on Betamax. I had on Betamax. That's how old I am. We had like, I think my auntie gave me a
Betamax rather than VHS.
No, my auntie gave me it. So there was a shop in Egbert Road in Liverpool, like an old video shop on there, and they were just selling them all off when Betamax went out. So I got Spider-Man. I got upset because I told my dad to get Star Wars, and he came back with Short Circuit.
So kids, only the really rich kids had Betamax.
Did you?
It's true, isn't it? Like none of the VHS came out for the poor people, and that's why it took over. We'll argue about this later.
Yeah, we'll argue about this later. But fun fact, Nicholas Hammond, who played Spider-Man, was actually in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. And you don't see his face, but when the Green Goblin attacks the first time, at that show, and he's still Peter Parker, and he pulls those two people away from the one of those is Nicholas Hammond, who played Spider-Man. And if he's not in the new film, if they're bringing back Tobey and bloody Andrew Garfield, if Nicholas Hammond isn't in there, I'm going to kick off.
Yeah, so watch out.
Yeah, Kevin Feige.
Yeah, Ian's gonna he's gonna spit water at you through a straw.
I'm gonna start a campaign, Justice for Nicholas.
Yeah.
Ian's
gonna be so angry.
He's gonna Hulk out.
You're gonna Hulk. You Hulk out. You'll tip your tea over.
I'll Hulk up. I'll shave a big ball patch in my hair, and I'll start like shaving beard into that weird long mustache.
Start abusing himself.
Look what you made me do. This is for you, Nick.
Look what you did.
Look what you made me do. But yeah, and then onto that, I used to watch religiously my Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. So it was him. It ran for 3 seasons. It was him. He lived in the house with Iceman from the X-Men, and it was going to be Johnny Storm from the Fantastic Four, but the people making the cartoon didn't like the fact that it was going to be a man on fire, so they replaced it with like a character called Firestar girl. It became like a more of a like a love interest for Spider-Man and Iceman. But I remember there was one episode. I was called The Bride of Dracula, and they were fighting like Frankenstein's monster, the Wolfman, but he wasn't called the Wolfman. He was called Wolf Thing, and Dracula, obviously. But yeah, I'm like Green Goblin was in it. It was just I have so many good memories of that show. It's actually on Disney Plus, so I've been watching all of them again. So that was brilliant.
Oh, cool.
That's mine. So who wants to start with the films? So Chris, you said you've been watching them all. So you want to start off?
Yeah, not a problem. Just to follow on what you've just said as well, Wolf Thing. I'm sure I read somewhere the other day that because I was going through the IMDb and what have you, when they were talking about, I think it'll be the second Spider-Man 2. I think is that where MJ's like dating James Jonah Jameson's
which one?
Son.
Yeah,
that's
Spider-Man
the second
2.
one. That's
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2. Yeah,
That's Spider-Man 2. I wasn't sure if it's Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man 3. But his son, the one she's dating, apparently that he's Wolf Thing in the comics. Apparently.
Oh, he is. Yeah, he is. Yeah, I remember
which
this.
I didn't realize. So there you go. So, but yeah, I watched all 7 films. I had to think then how many it was through the week, and
you did the legwork this week.
Definitely
did.
Oh yeah. And I must admit, I really did. I did enjoy them, sort of thing. All of them, to be honest. I will. Yeah. There are problems.
Really?
Well, this is it. There are problems. You know, we're not going to.
We are going to out Tobey Maguire. Yes, we are.
Yeah,
yeah,
we are definitely.
Yeah, Tobey Maguire. Right, I'll just go through. Right, Tobey Maguire. I didn't get it. I never got it. I don't get at all why he's Spider-Man at all.
Yeah.
As Peter Parker, I am not surprised in one bit that he's bullied or what have you. He just
agreed.
I don't. Yeah. So that's frustrating for a start off. And as Spider-Man, it just seems to lack stuff. Somebody mentioned, I can't remember who it is, I do apologise, but somebody mentioned before about his quips and what have you. And Spider-Man is infamous for his quips.
Yeah.
He's got
definitely.
That's
the whole point, isn't it? Like
exactly.
his fastness, his clever little quips that he's normally saying to himself.
Exactly. There's a reason why Deadpool is called a merc with a mouth, and Spider-Man runs a close second in my eyes. To
Deadpool talks to the people who are reading the comic.
Exactly.
In Spider-Man, that's where it all came from, because Spider-Man would say it to himself constantly. He'd be talking to himself constantly as he was swinging or whether he was doing fighting people. He'd be constantly talking to himself.
Yeah, I was going to say, in one of the games, he says my favourite line. Like, I think one of the games, he's about to fight one of the bosses, and like the boss turns around, he's like, so what? He goes, oh shit, I'm too scared to finish my own lame joke and get smacked. But the way he says it in the game is a lot more funny than what I said. But he's like,
no, that's brilliant.
He's like, I'm too scared to finish my lame joke. Like he just gets smacked across the screen.
And what game is
that?
It's one of 2 of my favourite Spider-Man games. It's called Ultimate Spider-Man. I played it on the Xbox. And it's brilliant because
I didn't even know the Xbox had games.
It was on the PlayStation 2 as well, and it was buying it on the Xbox. But what I loved about it, in the daytime you were Spider-Man,
I thought I got sucked up by something.
And then in the night time you were Venom. And
how awesome was that?
It was such a good game, and it was like one of my favourite Spider-Man games.
Have to find this game. Really have to find this game.
But no, yeah, it was really good. It was done like proper comic book style, drawing as well for it. And it was really good.
I have seen this game. So yeah, it's all done in like a sort of like a 2D sort of like flat. Yeah, 2D shaded. Yeah, I have seen this game. I have seen it.
So good. It is really, really good. Like I said, it was one of my favourite Spider-Man games. Like the other one, which I do really like, is Shattered Dimensions. I really love that one.
Shattered Dimensions is amazing as well.
Yeah, them two are my favourite.
I think Ian wants to talk about games a bit later.
That's fine. We'll get it later.
But I agree with what Chris says. His clips were just absolutely shite. I mean, when he's fighting with the Green Goblin, he just said something really lame, and I can't remember. It was like, "Oh, shut up, Gobby." I was like, "Is that
something like that?" Yeah.
Yeah. He was just always so serious.
It was the first Spider-Man movie, so
exactly. But I think the thing is, though, the first three, the Sam Raimi ones, they are definitely kind of like good examples of what the superhero movies of the time were like. Yeah, you know, it's like the bad
Sam Raimi came back. Remember?
Yeah.
Although you got to say that.
Don't sort of like class Sam Raimi as being.
Oh no, yeah. Oh no, I'm not claiming classing Sam Raimi sort of thing. I'm just saying that trilogy.
He's my favorite.
Yeah, but that trilogy is a good example of what superhero films were like at the time, sort of thing. And you see in like the bad guys. I mean, especially Green Goblin, the first one, where I know Willem Dafoe wanted to do his own stunts, so they kind of slimmed down the costume. But he looks like a Power Rangers villain.
He does, yeah. And I think part of it is like making Hollywood accept the fact that you want to do something.
Yeah,
must be quite difficult at that time.
Yeah, I imagine so. Yeah, and I thought that the whole fight choreography in those three films were again very much kind of like, swing, punch. I know I'm not explaining it very well because I know that the vast majority of fights are punching, but it was almost like Power Ranger-y sort of thing.
It was very sort of like,
and it was kind of like, these are comic book stories, so we have to make comic book films.
It was one step up from fucking like the Guyver films, you know. Like,
don't knock the Guyver films.
I love the Guyver films. Don't get me wrong, but they weren't fucking high end like fucking multi-millionaire like films.
Yes.
I was going to say though, out of those original three, though, I think Spider-Man 2 has probably got one of the best fight scenes out of the other Spider-Man movies, though. The Spider-Man versus Doc Ock scene was
on the train,
like even on the side of the building as well. Like,
the
train on the building. I thought that was better than any of the other Spider-Man fights that I've so far in the other movies.
This is it. The second one with Doc Ock, they did a lot of things a hell of a lot better because I know that there were concerns. Well, not concerns, but there were. They looked back at the first one, and I think they realised that what they were missing was an element of vertigo from the first one, where Spider-Man swings from webs, he climbs up walls. Why was it all so kind of flat? Whereas, like you said on the set, especially that one, like you said, where he's going up the side of the building, and you're looking down at the ground, and it is miles away, and that sort of, like I said, that sense of vertigo, that height and what have you, it comes across a lot better in the second one.
I was going to say, that second one.
To be fair, go on.
I was going to say, that second one, I was watching an interview the other day, the tentacles for Doc Ock, most of the time, that was practical as well.
Yes.
They only used CG a couple of times.
It was only when he's off the ground.
Yeah.
It's CG. When he's walking, it's all practical.
It's very clever.
Or very limited CG.
Yeah, I was going to say there is a bit where he's off the ground, not when he's fighting, and it's still practical. But like I said, I couldn't believe that he used a load of practical for the arms on it as well, which I thought was really good. But like I said, a lot of it's practical stuff's not in movies nowadays, is it? So
no,
well, no, it is, and it is, and it isn't.
Yeah,
like you still use a lot of practical stuff, but like you normally just put like little balls on the end, so you can then work out how you can CGI on top of that.
But
Yeah.
you know, actually though, what you say about putting little balls on it. You know the trailer for the new Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
You know the bit where Tom Holland's on the car and he gets his Spider-Man outfit, the Iron Spider comes onto him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's done without a motion capsule.
Well, no, because Tom Holland is incredibly fucking agile. That's why he's such a good Spider-Man.
No, but I mean, like he hasn't got a motion capsule on or anything. They're able to CGI the suit on now.
Oh right,
without,
really, yeah.
Well, yeah, because of course now 3D cameras are getting to that point now.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. They don't even have to use like motion cap suits or anything for it. Like
that all came about with the when. Do you remember when you first got an Xbox 360 and it had the Kinect?
Kinect.
No, do you remember the Kinect?
I had the Kinect.
That's where the first sort of like idea of like scanning a room came out. Like, I mean, I'm not saying it didn't in films either, but that was the idea. It was like 3D scanning a film, like a room, using IR scanners and using like that. That's what they're now doing in films, where they can literally much more detailed style scan a 3D image instantly and then like transfer that into a 3D model inside a computer and have it do anything they want and re-edit it quite quickly.
Yeah.
It's so fucking advanced now. It's brilliant. I love it. I love how advanced we've got.
It is impressive.
Anyway, it is so impressive. Other than that, I would like to say, like, what would you say, like, no, I'll let someone else talk.
What I was going to say, following on what Chris said about the Green Goblin looking like a Power Rangers villain, there is footage out there, and they did do a screen test more like a traditional Goblin mask. Has anybody seen that? The one on YouTube?
Oh, no, I've not seen that.
If you look it up on YouTube, like the Green Goblin test footage, it's like a traditional Green Goblin mask, but you can still see his eyes. It's terrifying but beautiful at the same time. I really was a missed opportunity.
I haven't seen it. I'm aware of it, and I know that they went with like the helmet sort of style thing instead.
Yeah.
Something I would have liked to have seen is some of the Spider-Man films, which you've not seen to this day, is Kingpin.
Oh, you might see him sooner or later.
I would like to see Kingpin in a Spider-Man film.
See, it's the problem with
he's
Kingpin.
Always the biggest massive film, like the biggest character, like that would be like, hugely against Spider-Man. But he paid off other people.
Yeah.
The thing with Kingpin, though, like he was meant to. I just can't see it working on screen properly. Like they've tried it twice, and I just don't think it works as well. Because like he is huge, the Kingpin, and he is like his figure, his build's massive. The only one who could like really go on it, but he probably needs to be fatter, was the guy from Daredevil, because he was the Kingpin, weren't he? But
like from Guardians of the Galaxy, what's his name?
Dave Bautista.
Dave Bautista. Why can't he do it?
I think the king, like you said, he's not muscular though. The Kingpin is he's just
huge. But that's the whole point. His head has to be huge. That's all you need.
Yeah, but they wouldn't put Dave Bautista in it now anyway because he's in Guardians.
No, they won't now. But like, you just need someone with a huge head.
I get what you mean though.
You could just put any sort of massive bodybuilders who's got like a big fat head.
I suppose that way, you could do it with a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
But like, you need someone with a big fat head, though, don't you? That's the whole point. And then just build the body around it.
Yeah.
I mean, CGI these days, you could do.
True. I was going to say, you can.
Yeah.
Well, they did make what's his name look good in Deadpool 2. I forgot his name now. Colossus.
Oh, Juggernaut as well.
Sorry. Yeah, Juggernaut, not Colossus.
Yeah, if they can do that, then surely they can do Kingpin.
Yeah, I was going to say they'll probably make Kingpin look good. So,
definitely. So we're going to talk about Spider-Man 3.
Which one? The new one or the one with the bad venom?
Bad Venom.
Bad Venom.
Which one are we talking?
Bad Venom.
Bad Venom.
Bad Venom. Oh,
Bad
Venom.
Venom.
Oh god, that was just awful.
I remember going to see it. Yeah.
Too many storylines. Too many.
no, I'm not talking about it.
Not
Yeah.
enough of anything.
No.
Emo Spider-Man.
Yeah.
This is Toby again, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The thing is,
Yeah.
like, by that point, you are literally trying to reach through the screen, grab him by the scruff of the neck, and give him a clap round the ear, sort of thing. It's like, dude, just what?
One of the things I didn't like about it as well is that how they made Spider-Man's Venom suit just look like his normal one, but black. When it was his whole suit was black, and he had the white spider on the front. That's what the Venom.
Yeah.
That's what his Venom suit looked like, and
Yeah.
I just didn't like it. No, it wasn't nice.
The whole thing was cringeworthy.
Venom didn't have anything. You know, when it was actually like Eddie Brock with the Venom suit on, he didn't have a symbol on him, did he?
No, he doesn't have it because he's not in.
Yeah.
No, because he's not in the universe. He's only at the end. I don't know if you've seen Carnage yet. Let There Be Carnage. The post credits in that he's finally in the MCU and he gets transferred over.
No, I mean Eddie Brock in Spider-Man 3.
Oh, sorry. He doesn't have anything on him as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No.
Except those dodgy spiky teeth.
Oh yeah. Jesus Christ. I'd block that out.
The whole film is just fucking cringeworthy.
It really was. It really was.
To be fair, any Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man is for me. Maybe people like it. I disagree with people liking them films, but for me, definitely not.
No, not at all.
I am hoping though, if they are in the new movie, like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, I'm kind of hoping Tobey Maguire is kind of like the Peter Parker from Into the Spider-Verse.
I'm hoping that like
it's kind of, not dead. The other Spider-Man who comes in to help Miles.
I know.
I'm hoping the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man swings in, and just as he's swinging across, someone shoots and just sort of gets it dead in the middle of the fucking forehead, and he just falls to his death.
I did read an interesting theory, and that was where if they're in it, which it's practically confirmed that they are now, because something to do with their themes from their films is incorporated in. They've leaked the sound. Somebody's leaked the soundtrack for the new one.
I don't want to get my hopes up, and I don't want to get my hopes up.
Yeah, I'm like
them
that.
Not be in it though as well. But
yeah, exactly. But
that's what I mean. I can't see one Spider-Man beating all
Venom's
those villains that are in
it.
it.
You know, Venom's going to be in it.
Oh yeah,
Venom.
that'd be cool.
Guaranteed to be in it.
Got Electro. You got Sandman.
Yeah. But yeah, I did read an interesting theory, and that was when they turn up, if they turn up, but that Toby, obviously when Tobey Maguire takes his mask off or what have you, Tom Holland looks at him and calls him Uncle Ben.
Oh,
yeah, and I thought that's actually quite interesting.
See, I was kind of waiting for that as well, because in the new Spider-Man movies, I know we didn't need to get another backstory of how Uncle Ben died and stuff like that. He's not mentioned in once though, to his auntie, saying, "Oh, I miss Uncle Ben," or something like that.
Does he? No.
He's not mentioned at all.
There was the initials on his suitcase in Far From Home.
Yeah, to be fair, you know that's happened though, because there's a tension.
Happened, it's just
tension.
Just a quick say or something of it. It doesn't have to go into a full backstory. It could just
I don't think
quick flyby.
I disagree. I don't think they needed to say it. And personally, I think you wouldn't talk about it too much. You don't talk about someone's death that much because you don't want to remember it. No. So I actually agree with the way they actually shot that. It was fantastic.
Oh yeah. I thought they handled the whole backstory, not backstory, sort of thing, really well.
They did it perfectly.
And all it was literally him and Ned walking along the road, and he's like, "Yeah, I got bit by a spider," and that's it.
Yeah.
And then it's just Ned. And then it's Ned asking the sort of questions that any teenager would ask, like, oh,
Yeah,
can you do this?
so
Can you do
clever.
this? Can you do this? If I got bit by a spider, would I have,
It's so brilliant. And
it was so well done.
He's meant to be Hobgoblin as well, isn't he, Ned? That's his.
Oh,
That's who turns into the Hobgoblin. He's meant to
apparently.
Hobgoblin.
That's his cat. That's who eventually turns into the Hobgoblin in the comics.
Oh, okay.
But
In the comics, yeah.
I hadn't heard that. Oh, in the comics?
yeah, in the comics, he's wanted to. But apparently, he's been losing weight. Someone was saying it's another theory to probably eventually go into it as well, because he's been signed off three movies, hasn't he?
It wouldn't surprise me, because that would actually be quite a clever move to do that. Like, it was his best friend, and then obviously,
it would be
and
good.
that's kind of sort of like played that against each other as well in Homecoming when they went abroad, and was it Homecoming?
No Way Home.
No, it was Way Home when they went abroad, and he started getting with that other girl, and they started the relationship started to break a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It was that's where they started to break a little bit.
Far From Home. Sorry, No Way Home's the new one. Far From Home is the second one. So
the two complicated the names, I think, for these ones. Just call it 1, 2, and 3.
Probably does make
what I can say though is I can say that definitely did happen, and that the characters started to sort of split apart a little bit. Yeah, so I can see that happening very, very
that's
easily.
Interesting. I've not heard that. That's interesting.
Yeah. That's a good one. So we're going to move on to the Amazing Spider-Man films now.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? I didn't like the films, but I
dip out.
But I liked Andrew Garfield. I thought he was not as much Peter
Andrew
Parker,
Garfield
but
was all right.
He was
good
more
as
the
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. He was good as Spider-Man.
Yeah,
he
was
had
good.
As Mike said, he had the quirks.
Yes, certainly more so than Tobey Maguire. I think Tom Holland nails it with the whole he's quipping because he doesn't have a clue what he's doing half the time, and he's he is a teenager and he's winging it.
Yeah,
and so on. Whereas Andrew Garfield was had more of a kind of a confident attitude about it all. Sort of thing.
Plus, we did actually get to see the whole story of how he becomes Spider-Man, which was quite cool.
Yeah,
I was going to say what you were saying about them, about the Tom Holland. It shows in them Civil War where I think he's fighting Falcon. And he goes, usually there's not this much talking in a fight because he won't shut up really to Spider-Man. When he's trying to fight, he keeps talking to him. He's like, he's like, "Oh, that's a metal arm, nice one." And then Falcon's like, "Shut up."
He's just fanboying, isn't he?
I do have to say, with the Andrew Garfield thing as well, the Green Goblin thing was actually quite cool.
Yeah,
you hated that. You hate that?
No, I'm not sure. I'm still a bit on the fence. Willem Dafoe is always going to be the best Green Goblin. Personally, I always thought
he really made a good as Green Goblin. But,
I don't know. I mean, the bit where you see his dad and he's got the gnarled goblin type.
There's a lot of cringe-worthy moments in it. Yeah, I will admit. But at the time, that was pretty fucking cool.
What in the Andrew Garfield ones?
Yeah.
That first movie as well did one of the probably a good fight scene as well, where he was actually like a spider, where he's fighting the lizard, and he's in the school. And he crawls around his whole body, webbing him up, and it's like
that was.
He's really good.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, the fight scene in the library with the Stan Lee cameo where he's listening to music and just to see them two fight in the background. Well, that was brilliant. But I mean, the first film, I thought the first film was really good. The second film just went off the rails a little bit. It's just too many villains, too many storylines. Like you said, Chris, about Spider-Man 3. It was just too much going on. But the way they handled Gwen's death was just spot on.
It's perfect. Except it was just a different location.
See, now I hadn't seen The Amazing Spider-Man 2 until this week. So and to be honest, I didn't really know much about it. I hadn't seen it in the cinema. I'd seen the first one. I can't remember if I saw it at the cinema or not, but I had seen the first one with Andrew Garfield. But I hadn't seen the second one. And obviously, for ready for the show and what have you, I thought, right, well, I'm going to watch it, and I did enjoy it. I thought the ending. It is a bit of a shame that they didn't do a third one, because they were setting up Sinister Six.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a shame that they did get to do a third one. The whole Green Goblin thing in that one, I didn't mind it. It seemed fine, because obviously he wasn't supposed to be a major villain in that one. It's leading into the third one that never happened, what have you.
Electro.
I didn't mind Electro. I didn't mind the film, actually. I did quite enjoy it. Both of them, to be honest. His parents are scientists, but they're also the most secret agent scientists that have ever existed in the world, ever. Was a little bit kind of like, what? But apart from that, I did thoroughly enjoy him, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I did think Andrew Garfield was a better Spider-Man than Tobey Maguire. Maybe a little bit too kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the whole thing, is like, he can't be too cool. He has to be like quite nerdy.
Yeah.
And this is why everyone loves Tom Holland as
exactly.
doing it. Because he's playing it exactly how it should be played. As
Exactly.
this nerdy teenager that just doesn't know what to do with his fucking powers. Like,
exactly. He's cool to his mates because his mates want to build Lego Death Stars. But he's not cool to anybody else.
No, that's the best thing that sort of they ever did, was picking him, and then picking genuinely, I think Tom Holland has got this role for a long time now.
Yeah.
The only villain that I was going to say that I like in those Amazing Spider-Man movies as well, which you only get to see for 5 minutes, I actually loved how they did the Rhino.
Really?
I really did, because I just can't see the Rhino. Well, obviously you can do the CG and all that now, like we were saying. Yeah. But I just loved how when at the end when he throws his helmet down, and he starts charging towards him like that. I just thought it was good, and it's how I could see him being with machine guns on him and stuff like that, or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, I just thought he looked really good. I said, obviously some more people don't, but I thought he looked really good, the Rhino.
I thought it was really good. I didn't realise as well that it's Paul Giamatti.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
And I didn't realise. That's what? I didn't realise at all until looking back at it, and I thought, bloody hell. But no, I completely agree, and it kind of moves. This is why I quite like the more more recent sort of superhero films, because they move away from. Well, it's a comic book film, so it's based on comic books, so it has to be. Otherwise, you'd have had the Rhino literally in a Rhino costume.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing about Spider-Man though is there's so many universes of it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about when you make a film that it has to fit within any sort of standard comic book style, because there's so many different ones that you can literally go off. Yeah. So I assume that that is probably the best way to go.
Yeah.
What I want to know is as well, Jamie Foxx in the second Amazing Spider-Man as Electro.
Yeah.
Bald as fuck. In the new one, all his hair's back. I want to know how that happens.
I don't think it's the same one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you mean. But
yeah.
I need that secret. I'm going to bald myself.
Yeah. Well, apparently they did get him back by basically saying, "Look, you're going to be a hell of a lot cooler this time round."
Like you said, he does look a lot better in the new one, especially even just that little electric mask that they put on him. When looking at the comics, looked really good.
Yeah.
I actually do know the secrets of baldness.
What, causing it or fixing it?
Fixing it. How to fix it?
Yeah.
Just shave your head. Just make it bald. Just and then just fucking accept it.
Oh no,
that's the best way to work with it.
Work with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, just do it. Just shave your head now, and then as you go bald, nobody give a shit because they'll never notice.
That's true.
Just because you've got a shaved head.
Okay, so before we move on to the games, each of us are going to say what our favourite Spider-Man film is. So I'll go with mine. I'm going to say Homecoming. It was just a perfect start, really. Michael Keaton, obviously, you know, my man, Michael Keaton. He was just perfect as the Vulture. And I've never really rated the Vulture as a villain, but I liked them in this film. Plus, they brought in the Shocker, like, you know, these like lower tier Spider-Man villains, but they actually work quite well as well. So, and you know, Tom Holland, he is just a perfect mix. But yeah, so I would say Homecoming is my favorite film.
Nice.
Okay, Chris, what about you? What's your favorite?
I will be right on your heels, but I will say it's probably Far From Home. I did really enjoy that. I thought it was great. I thought it built on everything from Homecoming. You know, because obviously you see him in Civil War, you see him in Homecoming, but then Far From Home, and I thought Mysterio was ace.
That's what I mean. To make Mysterio work in a movie as well, like it
was actually quite clever to actually make that work. Yeah.
I did wonder how they were going to do it, and I just thought that was absolutely fantastic. How they did Mysterio, how they span it, and then of course you've got the whole.
My favorite part of that entire film is when he gets his senses back, and he starts like just going down the corridor, and he can see everything, and he's like, because the spider senses have started to come back.
Yeah,
he just goes into God mode.
He goes into absolute God mode. Yeah, when he's fighting Mysterio down along the corridor. That is fucking genius.
I like it when he put the motion capture suit on him, because that's what Quentin Beck's job was. He was a special effects person. So he actually put him on in that as well for his outfit.
Yeah, they did. They tie it back to previous Marvel films.
Yeah,
you know, all Tony Stark's staff and so on. They've linked it to future ones because, like I said, although it wasn't real, the whole multiverse angle for Mysterio, but they tie it into what is coming, which is the multiverse and so on. And it's just so well done. And and I love the way that they do all these. They do all these little storylines without it taking away from the main one.
Yeah.
So, like this whole...
It was really clever. Yeah, it definitely did.
So, like Happy and Aunt May, and, you know, in a previous one, that would have probably done my head in something rotten by having it as, like, this major thing or what have you. Whereas it wasn't. It was just, like, this endearing little thing between them both and what have you.
I think it was. It was really clever.
Yeah, I just thought that film was... And it sets... this next one up so well. I genuinely just cannot wait.
I would definitely say it was the sweetest of all of the like Spider-Man films. Like for like moments.
And I think they handled the whole Peter MJ thing really well.
They did. They definitely did.
Really well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say I think it was the only one I can remember where it's like he's got his shit together when it comes to the ladies, anyway.
Well, he doesn't. That's the thing. He doesn't, but he does.
Yeah,
he doesn't.
At the end, though, he does.
But you look at him and you think
MJ's the one that's got it together, not him.
Yeah, but you look at him and you think like, no, you know, I get where you're coming from. You know, I get why he's so awkward and all this other thing. With Tobey Maguire, they're going like, oh, for God's sake, man. You know, and like I said, you want to reach through the screen and punch him around, you know.
Yeah. It's MJ. It's MJ who's got the thing together in that film, isn't it?
Yeah.
She's the one who's like, she's the one who goes, I know you're Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I've been watching you this whole time. I know you're Spider-Man.
Whereas MJ and Spider-Man 2 was just... What? Oh, yeah, they are, yeah.
Tom Holland, Zendaya, is that her name? Zendaya?
Zendaya, yeah.
Zendaya, like I said, they're going out in real life, aren't they?
Yeah. She's in June, which I still haven't watched yet. But...
I still need to watch it. I've heard good things about it.
Good. So good.
But I love the original, so I'm really looking forward to this one. What was I going to say? But yeah, we're just going on about MJ having the shit together because Kirsten Dunst certainly didn't have shit together in the other films. I mean, she was just kissing random bloody men upside down to see if it was the right one. I thought by the end of the first. I thought by the end of the first one, she clicked when she kissed him. But obviously not. Okay, so Mike, what about yours? What about your?
Mine's Homecoming.
Homecoming as well.
Yeah, absolutely Homecoming, because it finally brought back Spider-Man as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
As it's a kid who didn't really know what he was doing.
Yeah.
Who got these powers. And yeah, for me, Homecoming definitely brought back Spider-Man as it should be in films. So yeah, Homecoming, 100%.
It was like I think the comedy was well written in it as well.
It's so good, and it's like, as I say, like I keep coming back to these little quips. Like that's who Spider-Man needs to be. This guy who talks to himself all the time in his own head, and like goes, "Oh, do you know what? I'm not entirely sure whether I should be doing this," because we all do this in our own heads constantly. Yeah. So as like that's something you can connect with. That sort of like idea that if you had these superpowers, you would constantly be thinking in your head. I don't know if you guys have ever rode a motorcycle.
No,
I've tried.
Well,
I've been a passenger on one.
Well, when you ride a motorbike and you really like sort of like ragging the shit out of it, in your head you're like da 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 da, and you're shouting at yourself like in your own head, going, "And the biggest car," like. You will randomly shout in your own head and like sort of like create like weird scenarios in your own head. That's exactly how I think Spider-Man's thinking, because he's like, I've got all these superpowers all of a sudden, and all of a sudden my brain's just kind of gone, "Buh." So I need to sort of like keep myself centered by just talking to myself constantly. And that, I genuinely see that in sorry, I nearly said Tobey Maguire. In the in the Tom Holland version of Spider-Man. We all know I hate the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
I think
I've said enough about that.
Yeah,
I think we've all like on like all kind of agree that Tobey Maguire is the weakest link.
I don't hate him as an actor. Like no. I don't like. I just it wasn't his fault. It's the direction. It's the writing. It's not the actor's fault. Definitely. Yeah. I don't hate Tobey Maguire. Please don't send him fucking hate mail. But like,
absolutely not. No. Don't send us hate mail.
Yeah, and don't send us hate mail. Send us hate mail. Definitely.
We like
we'll read it out on the next episode.
But yeah, because before like recording this, the general consensus I thought was a unpopular opinion on my part. So I'm glad that I'm not alone. But I always thought that like the general consensus that was before Tom Holland that Tobey Maguire was the best Spider-Man, even though I thought he was quite weak. So
really,
thank you for I was like the general consensus, especially watching YouTube videos, is that like
one of the big problems with the Tobey Maguires is I think the web shooting into thinner in the sky was a big problem for me as well. Like
everything was fucking wrong with them films.
You'd see it, you're like, what's he just hit there? There's nothing there. Like he swings away.
Yeah,
like,
I know exactly what you mean.
It's not just that though. Like the idea that he's like this emo kid and he's like depressive and stuff like that, like that's not how he should be. Like Peter should be an absolutely happy guy and like be really quippy and like even though his life's a bit shit, he's still quite sort of like intelligent and like clever and like.
Well, he's very clever.
Incredibly clever,
and he's very persistent. I think Spider-Man, certainly in the MCU, not just in like Marvel, so they Spider-Man is like the epitome of getting back up when you're knocked down.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's been through so much crap, and he keeps getting back up. He keeps taking the punches with his witty banter and so on. And that's who Spider-Man is.
It's not getting up and going, the world's a bit shit.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's getting up and going. Do you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm gonna fucking take the piss out of all of you.
Yeah. Well, that was your best shot.
Yeah.
Is that all you got?
You know. Oh, very nice. Who's your tailor?
But that just reminds me how great Tom Holland was, because in that first film he said, like, "You're not the Avengers." He starts having a fight with them. I thought that was just perfect.
Yeah, the interrogation scene.
My favorite one is in one of the cartoons. Like, he's linked together with what's his name? I think it's in like the third episode of like the cartoons from the 90s cartoons, and he's linked together with this guy, and he's like, and the guy's like, we need to get this like completely broken off because it's a bomb as well. And he's like, oh, you think this is like time to split our relationship? Well, I can say I'm hurt, but like, he makes this fucking amazing comment, and it's like, it made me laugh so much. I wanted to write it down. It was that fucking funny. I will find it. I will post it on the Facebook channel. It's so fucking hilarious. Like that's how Spider-Man should be. Like this, like a very fast sort of like comedy guy.
Yeah.
Craig, what about you? What's your favourite?
Mine is actually not any of those 7. I'm going with, and I do really love it, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
I was hoping to bring that up.
I'm
really
glad
good.
you said that, because I was hoping
I'm glad someone
was
said
say
it as well.
When I first saw it, I was a bit like, oh, obviously how it's been drawn, but when you watch a bit of it and you're like, actually, this is brilliant. Like, the art styles are phenomenal. Like, it's just absolutely amazing. Like, obviously bringing Miles Morales into it is like awesome.
Absolutely amazing, isn't it?
You got like fucking Gwen, she's in it. What a bloody Spider-Man Noir, they brought him into it.
Yeah.
I've never actually heard of that Japanese Spider one though. The in the robot. I've never heard of that one before.
I think she's original for the film. I think.
What about the piggy Spider-Man?
I've heard of Spider-Man before. So it was fun watching him, but it was just good at watching how and like how it was like how they killed Peter Spider-Man at the beginning of it, and then obviously they bring in the other Spider-Man from the other verse, like another Peter Parker.
So good though. Like,
it was
genuinely
really good. Like I just thought it was all brilliant. Like even like changing Doc Ock, like how it's brought into it. But like you're saying, like being quirky, how Spider-Man should be funny and stuff like that. The bit where they're trying to steal the laptop, like I just thought it was brilliant.
Yes.
Like Miles turns invisible, he's messing up and everything, and then you got Peter Parker trying to keep Doc Ock entertained, like how he should be. But that's what I mean.
It's that comedy. That's the whole point of Spider-Man. For me anyway. And that sort of like was amazing anyway, because the fucking animation in that was brilliant.
And the trailer for the new one is good as well. I can't even believe it's part 1 as well. It's going to be a part 2. So
it is brilliant. Looks brilliant.
In this part 1 as well, they're bringing Spider-Man 2099 into it, so I'm looking forward to that. So
that ends scene with who's playing him as well, the fellow out of Dune and Star Wars, Oscar Isaac.
Yeah,
he's playing Spider-Man 2099, isn't he? And
he is.
So that's going to be really good. He's also playing Moon Knight. You've got Doc Ock, who was played by Agatha Harkness from WandaVision.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. But I just want to go back a little bit because we talk about Miles Morales. But the reason we got Miles Morales, the actor who inspired him, is actually plays a character in Homecoming, and it's what's his name? I forgot his name now.
Well, why do you think about
Childish Gambino? Childish Gambino.
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover, yeah. So
it's the guy who he webs his hand to the car and then tries to intimidate
with that voice. It's like, tell me where he is or something.
Like, what happened to your voice?
He does a
absolutely love.
he does a
Absolutely love Donald Glover.
Yeah.
If anyone's ever watched Community,
I love
Donald
Community.
Glover, isn't he so good in that?
Well, when we did the video last week, did you not recognise the music from the end?
Yes, I did.
Because that's what I want to get it from there. But yeah, they want to say, I think they put a thing up, so you should be the next Spider-Man. Lots of people suggested Donald Glover because in the episode of Community, he woke up wearing Spider-Man pajamas. Said he should be. So they created Miles Morales as like an alternative. So to see him in the MCU, the man who inspired Miles Morales as a character, was just really good.
Yeah.
Trying to think who else is in it as well. I didn't know Chris Pine played the Spider-Man who died in that film.
I'm not joking or anything. I really need to go pee. So, you guys,
we'll jump on. But yeah. So, I mean, it's got so many big actors, especially actors who are in the MCU. I mean, the girl out of Spider-Gwen, that's the girl out of Hawkeye.
That's it. You know what? I kept thinking Gwenon for some reason, and it's not Gwenon's like Gwenon with Venom, but it's just Spider-Gwen in it. And for some reason, I just kept thinking Gwenon, but I'm like, it's not Gwenon. It's not Gwenon.
Gwenon. That's the Welsh Spider Woman. Hello, I'm Gwenon.
By the way, Spider-Ham, right? Mm-hmm. You do realise he's not a pig. He was actually a spider that was bit by a pig.
That was it. I was trying to think what it was. What the story was.
Whereas you think it's going to be a pig that was bit by a spider, and it's not. It's a spider that was bit by a pig, which I thought was ace. I thought that was absolutely ace.
I thought it was Homer Simpson's pig.
Spider pig.
Spider pig. Does whatever a spider pig does.
Spider pig does.
Love it. But yeah, so I was hoping someone would bring up Into the Spider-Verse because it's just an amazing film. That
it's really good. And I'll be showing Spider-Man was just down on his luck, and he's proper got like a gut belly on him and everything, and when he comes through, and he just shows he's just run out of his luck.
Oh, what was the other bit as well? And it's the only Spider-Man film that actually has won an Oscar. It was one of the best animated film Oscar, didn't it?
Yeah,
was it? Nice.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. So yeah, it's an Oscar winner as well. So you chose well there.
Nice.
Well done.
Well done. Bravo. What we'll do. Well, that wraps it up for this week. Again, I've been Ian Duffy. You can find me on Instagram at the Geeky Dad, Twitter at the Geeky Dad 29, and I'm also on the PlayStation Network at the Geeky Dad 29. Chris,
you nearly said the geeky twat.
No, I didn't. Just clearly a Freudian slip on your part there.
No, it sounded like you're about to say the geeky twat.
Chris, where can we find you?
Twitter is at ethereal_UK_, and you can also find me when I get it going again at twitch.tv/etherealuk.
Okay, Mike, where can we find you?
Just finding me as System Smoke on everything.
And Craig, where are you?
You can find me on Xbox at ManFat Glory, and I'll add my PS4 to it this time. Same again, ManFat Glory.
Woohoo! Okay, well, next week we'll be on the run up to Christmas, so next week we'll be talking about Christmas films.
Nice.
Until then, same geek time, same geek channel, the Geeky Dads Podcast. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Okay, Beastman, I will read the thing. Thank you for listening to the Geeky Dads Podcast this week. You can find us on Twitter at the Geeky Dads Pod, Instagram at the Geeky Dads Podcast, Facebook.com/The Geeky Dads Podcast. And even now on YouTube, The Geeky Dads Podcast. What the fuck? We're on everything now. You can even listen and subscribe on Anchor FM, Spotify, Pocket Cast, and even Stitcher. Leave that alone, Beastman! You infernal boob!